Disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the individual guests or creators and do not necessarily represent the views of their employers, business partners, affiliates, or advertisers. Any opinions, advice, or statements made on this podcast are not intended to be taken as fact or professional advice. Please consult a qualified professional before making any decisions based on the content of this podcast.
Hi everybody, welcome to Untapped Azania. My name is Maureen, even the queen, even the princess, or Pinduro, the answer, whichever one you prefer. Welcome to another episode. Once more, if you're new here, please like, subscribe. Let us know what you've been tapped into so we can tap into that as well. If you're returning, what have you been doing? Also like, subscribe. Let us know what you've been tapped into so we can tap into that as well. But of course, I do not chill alone. I chill with the one and only
Mash D.
How you doing, Mash D?
I'm fresh, and my fresh just gets fresher.
What's the mood? What's the temperature, my dog?
You know, the diamonds in production are glowing greater than the pressure.
Love that. Let's get into it, my dog. What have you been tapped into?
Just a thought that was sparked by a conversation I came across.
Let's actually go there. I think for women, your youth also is at the crux of not romance but relationships.
Yes.
Because if we're being very honest, socially our commodities are different as men and women.
Yes.
A woman's commodity most of the
Not
90%
most
of the time
it is
her
youth. Yes. Your most powerful weapon, literally, your number one tool. One of that card, that one, you know, that card, that winning card is your youth. And that's why you need to take your youth seriously. You cannot allow someone to waste your youth.
Absolutely.
You cannot get that back. Biologically, time-wise,
if you look at the stats, also like it's more difficult for women over over 35 in their 40s to get married than it is for us. Youth. That's what it is.
And the thought is around, maybe I should pose it as a question.
Okay.
Right? Do you think that a woman's commodity being attached to her youth makes sense, or is it a form of like ageism?
Wow. Okay. I think it's a form of ageism. Because I think that a lot has been tied into a woman's age that I don't necessarily think should be tied into a woman's age. And especially that her age being being seen as some form of commodity. I think it's a weird thing because and it's interesting that you bring this up because I was having a conversation with one of my friends maybe 2 weeks ago. We were taking a walk, and he's a guy, right? So we were talking about this, and we were talking about just how relationships are these days and what is expected of us at the age that we're in. And I was explaining to him that, look, like when women are seen as like, as they get older, like their value depreciates. There's actually a video of this lady talking about how in Asian culture, there's a specific one where she says, like, there's specific words that are attached to a woman over 30.
In China, if you're a woman, single, and over 30, you are called 剩女, which means leftover woman in Mandarin. In Cantonese, you are called 老底橙, 賣剩蔗, and 攝做辣, which means orange at the bottom of the basket, the sugar cane that didn't get sold, and the thing used for filling the gap of the stove. But if you're a man, single, and over 30, you are called 钻石王老五, which means a diamond bachelor in Mandarin. In Cantonese, you are called 笋盤, which means quality real estate.
Something about being spoiled milk, being the last orange under the basket, like literally all the bad things. And on the other side, when it's a guy, you are seen as like, the ideal bachelor, like that's kind of the ideal age. But it's like, it's a weird thing because we're told like, as you get older, your chances of having kids get lower, like the quality of your eggs do this and that. And it's like you're supposed to, your whole life should be focused around chasing these desire or this need to have kids and to reproduce. And the older you are, the more it's like, maybe you're not gonna reproduce, or maybe this is not gonna happen for you. And it's meant to be this weight that you're supposed to carry. But on the other side, I feel like there is similar kind of something similar can be said about guys, that like as you get older, like your sperm is not as quality as it used to be when you're in your early 20s.
But then does that pressure exist? Because I feel like if you think about it from the context of women, right? Because I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna bring it back. Because the thing about it is, because I don't want us to completely deviate from the woman. We'll get to the man.
No, I don't want to deviate. I actually just want to say that, like, for that specific thing, I'm talking about the biological sense and how women are viewed from that specific thing. There's other factors as well. So when we look at guys, it's like, you're seen as the ideal age over 30.
What other factor would you think commodifying the youthful aspect of a woman's existence?
So before we get back to that, I just want to put at this point that, like, with guys, you do have a similar biological thing, but you don't have the societal pressure, right? And this idea that women are supposed to, as early as they are, you're supposed to get married young. Your whole life should be structured around your family and how to build a family. And as early as possible, literally as early as possible, this should be like the idea that you follow. It kind of feeds into this idea that, like, like your whole life is meant to produce a family structure. And even if you have everything else working for you, if you do not have the family structure and you're above a certain age, then literally you kind of wasted your youth, or you haven't achieved as much as you're supposed to. But obviously there's other things that I'm like, people also kind of put together the beauty aspect of women. Like, the younger you are, the more beautiful you're considered. And maybe the more beautiful you're considered to look. So therefore, men are encouraged to marry young, or you are supposed to look as young as possible. Even when you are 50, you are still supposed to look like, oh my God, I'm not 50. I look younger than 50. But it's like, is that even realistic? It's not a realistic standard to put. So this idea that, like, I have to structure my life around being young for both biological reasons, for cultural reasons, but also for just how to present myself in the world is kind of wild to me.
Okay, so you know what, ne? What I was thinking is that obviously a woman's commodity being attached to her youth has a lot to do with fertility. Right?
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with fertility. But then obviously that creates a lot of other sort of dynamics, in that you're then put in a position where women are put in a position where they are also sort of forced to preserve their youth, right? Which goes back to the conversation we had about how a lot of markets are accelerated by people's insecurities. You get how that's attached to that. But then when it comes to guys, right, I think the equivalent of that is, and the conversation that you could have with the guy is, you have to lock in, you know? And that is also something that actually becomes problematic as well. It goes back, there's something I also came across where it's like, hey, the guys will keep talking about how they want to make $1 billion, but this guy has never seen $10,000, right?
We have a community of young men that want millions of dollars and have never had $10,000 liquid. Never held $30,000 liquid. 50,000. Never had $100,000 liquid, but you want $1 million, and then you surprised when these niggas end up on drugs, when these niggas end up hyper consumers, hyper materialistic, hyper tricking. I mean, supreme tricking.
Supreme clientele on the tree.
I mean, goddamn.
And it's like there isn't a sense of realism in how they approach that conversation because of not necessarily the pressure, but beyond the pressure, guys have been made to believe that anyone can amass substantial amounts of wealth.
If you just lock in.
Yeah. Right? And I mean, where I wanted to take this was, given that, you know, the ageism aspect and the whole locking in aspect, who exactly bears the responsibility for us living in a society like that? Is it the individuals in their individual capacity conforming to the ideas, or does the government or our elders at a macro level have a responsibility to ensure that, or the media, that to ensure that what is passed down to us at the most minuscule level is sound? Like who bears, if you're gonna say, yo, someone was wrong for this, is it the person who spews the nonsense, or is it the person who is in the receiving end and is willing to accept this false narrative?
Like, I think, so just on the guys aspect, right? I think especially when it comes to ageism, I think it's a little bit different, because I think with guys, you can lock in at any time. And it's like, if you are 35 and you start locking in at 35, the world is like, yeah, lock in, bro. Like, whether or not that's possible or not, you know, that's a conversation. But specifically for ageism, like, if you lock in at 40, you're still locked in. And whatever you get, it doesn't depreciate because you got it at 40, which I think is a little bit different if you compare that to women. Because if women give birth at 40, it's like, oh, wow, that's so like, oh, wow, you're so like, oh, weren't you scared of the medical risks? Or like, there's like additional questions that get asked, right, based on that. But to answer your question around who bears the responsibility and like why it is, like, patriarchy is wild, because it messes all of us over. It says to me, I need to have kids as early as possible. And it says to you, you need to have you need to have a lot of money. It doesn't matter what background, you just need to have money. And if you don't have money, like you don't say much. Like, if there's a seat at this table and there's 4 seats, and all of these seats, and there's like 5 people, and 4 of these people have a lot more money than you do not have a seat at that table. Whether or not, Uri, you are a smart individual and you can contribute to the conversation, the chat is about how much have you accumulated, right? And I think that is, and I think it affects people in different aspects. I think there's aspect of culture in how we're brought up, in that some cultures perpetuate that kind of energy. And it's not to say guys shouldn't lock in or young men shouldn't lock in and try as best as they possibly can to get money or accumulate wealth. But it's also to say the system is built in that way, and you sort of, if you are rich in other ways, or if you've accumulated wealth in other ways and you can contribute positively to society in other ways, that is not valued. And yeah, but I do think that, I think with capitalism that makes it even worse, because in the age that we're in, guys are encouraged to just get more money. Like, everything else is like, Yeah, it matters, but it's not that important.
I think also if you think about the market aspect of it, where there's a whole market that benefits from women. I mean, it's a woman's choice to do whatever they want to their body, right? But we need to be able to acknowledge that to a certain extent that plays into it. You know, the whole youthful aspect and just wanting to not look your age, you know. I feel like with men, the whole idea around locking in actually contributes to criminality.
Yeah, it does.
You know, and
but criminality and also kind of this perpetual cycle of being in this kind of always working and always trying to enrich. Like you should see the like pyramid schemes and how they're brought up. Those things are like, yeah, log in, like get as many people as you can. But at the top, there's one person that's actually benefiting from all of that hard work that all of these people are doing. So there's that exploitation that aspect that comes into it, right? That I think is a contribution from the capitalist world that contributes to that, to be like, yeah, you log in and you work as hard as possible, but you're logging
something
in.
Something is going to come out of this. And
yeah,
it's not insured.
It's not insured. And 9 out of 10 times, the person that's getting rewards from you logging in is just the man at the top, right up there. You don't get as much rewards from that as the person that's up there, as the person that's above you that's actually telling you to log in. So there's that aspect, yeah.
Yeah. What have you been tapped into?
Me, I'm a Bafana girly. I know I'm wearing a Springboks top, but that's because I don't have the jersey. And I did say a couple of weeks ago that it's around that time that we all get jerseys. So big shout out to Bafana Bafana for qualifying. I'm so happy. I am so happy. I'm so happy. If there's anything that made me happy this week is that. But there's also a conversation that's been happening with the Bafana Bafana because sponsorship.
Yeah,
and
from Le Coq to, and I have the Le Coq shit, and I've never actually worn it. I've had it for months.
I like the sorry to cut you. I like the white one with like the gray stuff.
I have the home one.
Oh,
but yeah, both of them are fire.
I love the shirts.
Yeah,
jerseys, whatever.
Yeah, but yeah, I've never worn my jersey. But I saw they signed a deal with Adidas now.
Yeah. So Adidas, is back on, and there's been conversations. I think Le Coq is facing some financial troubles. So other people were having conversations around Le Coq has been with us through this entire time. Like they've been sponsoring us. Do they not deserve a contract extension?
On that basis,
right?
Yeah, and there's a World Cup coming.
And then the other chat is like, yo, but Adidas has the money and Adidas is going to put in what they put in. It's a business decision that's being made, right? And I was just thinking that like, life is, I just had to just take it back on life. Like life is not fair. Like life is not fair. In that,
the good guy finishes last.
It's so sad because I can imagine. Obviously, Le Coq is going through its financial troubles and whatever. But if the sponsorship was to be kept, I can imagine how much that impact could be on their books, like as a positive impact, because they're going to the World Cup.
I think there's also just a lack of willingness to actually view things from a long-term standpoint. Because if Safa was willing to continue their relationship with Le Coq, even if the benefits beyond sort of the shirts and whatever else they were able to get when Le Coq was in good financial standing is not as great, right? And the Le Coq brand benefits from, I mean, there's AFCON coming up. That would accelerate the brand as well. I mean, but they're still going to be around for the AFCON.
Yeah, I think it ends at the end of December.
Yeah. So they're still going to be on for AFCON. I just don't know when AFCON ends. But say AFCON and then World Cup, right? And say if you're thinking about from a long-term standpoint, say benefit financially, monetarily, and they grow quite substantially from that. You know, you could even talk equity, like given that they're not, you know, they're not in a good financial state
standing,
now.
right.
You have bargaining power to actually have a completely different conversation that creates some level of ownership, right? Because obviously Adidas is not going to give you equity. You know, they have the bargaining power.
And they like the magnitude of Adidas, like you don't have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that was very interesting. But on the other hand, I started thinking about the work that Adidas has done. I know they did like a Tebe Magugu collaboration with Orlando Pirates. And that just, I'm a Chiefs fan, but I was like, I could get this. Like, just for the fact that it looked good, you know?
Okay.
And I started thinking about this. Like, if they were to collaborate with any South African brand to create a World Cup jersey for Bafana Bafana, which brand would you think like they should be like collaborating with?
It's a Kasi style.
Kasi flavor.
Kasi flavor.
Yeah.
I think them. They deserve the gig.
True, because there's a whole conversation about Kasi flavor
Yeah,
and old school.
Now, old school is definitely the kid that stole the homework.
They did.
They did, because there's such a thing. There's certain things where you see something come up, because the thing is when things are at face value, right? Like you see when something comes out, and then you see when something else comes out. So man, we know the kid that copied the homework,
and they had the money to kind of push it because they had those Dr. Kumalo jerseys,
and that sucks,
like,
bro. That sucks because I'm not gatekeeping. I'm not trying to gatekeep collaborations, but it sucks when you have something of your own, you know, because I was also looking at the founders of
Kasi flavor.
Yeah, I think the dad is a former Bafana Bafana player, and
you
know, he's a former
something like
footballer
that.
and stuff like that, where it's like you'd expect, and it goes back to that thing where yes, here's a big bag, but here is impact, proper impact, proper longevity.
And I mean, Kasi flavor was on the run. Hey, like there was a period where those white, because the design is very similar. The old school design and the Kasi flavor design are very, very similar. And the Kasi flavor's design is like more white-ish. And there's a time, I just remember, where everybody had those. But all of a sudden, as of recent times, everybody just has the Dr. Kumalo jersey.
Yeah, because Dr. Kumalo has he's got an impact.
Yeah.
So imagine if he actually did that with
I hear
the
you.
brand that he was actually supposed to collaborate with.
I hear you.
So for my question of the week, right? I want us to go one round of if I rule the world.
If I rule the world.
Yeah.
If I rule the world. I want to, man, I think this question has been asked before. I think you're cheating the game, bro.
I've never.
But haven't I asked you something like this before?
You've never.
I've asked you.
If you rule the world, Maureen, if you rule the world.
If I ruled the world, I'd end capitalism.
How?
I don't know. Like I'll take away money. I would encourage bartering opposed to having like this money and relying on like I don't know, relying on.
Okay, so if we're bartering, where do we start? Like
what has value, what doesn't have value?
Not necessarily what has value, what doesn't have value, but
give
some.
I need.
It's the system is still sort of capitalistic because there are going to be certain people that benefit like farmers now are the new capitalists, you know, or people that have.
But farmers don't exist alone. Like they don't exist in silos. They need other people to exist
hear
as
you,
farmers.
but that's why I'm saying that you want people to eat. The farmers need to swap their produce or their meat or whatever for something else that and I need to provide, right?
Yeah.
I'm not getting money for the job I do. You know?
But you are.
You said money won't exist.
No. But you're getting something. So if you provide
That's
a
what I'm
service
saying.
to a farmer, the farmer pays you with.
No, but what service would I be providing the farmer? I would still use my skills to do, like you're changing the world instantly. I would still have to use my skills to do something that I can do given my skill set at the current stage.
If I ruled the world, men would take contraceptives opposed to women. Yeah.
You just wanted to shut me up. Okay, it's fine.
But if you rule the world, fam, what would you do?
I mean, male contraceptives exist, but yeah, I hear you. If I ruled the world, I'd revamp the not necessarily the political system, but the voting system. Democracy would still exist, but
We all vote at the same time.
not vote at the same time. Our votes count differently based on our knowledge of what we're voting for.
Giving nota. It's giving.
No, fam. Like I don't want my vote to count as much as Maureen, who doesn't understand what a counselor does. You don't want to listen. I don't want, like, you first, it's a questionnaire. It's meritocratic in that.
What are you measuring that on?
That's what I'm saying. There's a questionnaire with a multiple choice in the beginning. Based on your score of that multiple choice that asks you, what does your counselor do? Then there's option A, B, C. What does your what do? If you fail at that,
You can't vote.
no.
Oh,
if you
your
fail
vote
at-
doesn't.
Yeah, your
so
vote
we
counts.
calculate depending on what percentage
Yeah,
you got.
and these are general knowledge questions.
Okay,
What's the
okay.
role of a president?
Okay.
If you say the role of a president is to rule over local
But
government,
what if I'm a slow learner and
your vote shouldn't be counting the same in my world.
before we
Peace
get
out,
cancelled.
peace out.